Hello everyone and welcome back to WWE Smackdown show and Tom Colohue's watch along or good old fashioned watch party. We are back and so is Vince McMahon. It is a crazy time to be a wrestling fan, I'll tell you that, but the world goes mad and we stay strong. Welcome back to the show everyone. Sean is here saying hello again. Tom, welcome Sean. Bailey's here as well saying hello Tom. Turned off spoiler warning a little early. Was anything mentioned about the front office sports article on a WWE sale? We did not discuss that, Bailey, at the time of show. I had not seen it myself. Welcome to the show. How you doing? Also, we have a few people already saying hi over on the YouTube side. Jaden says hi. Harry says hi. Justin is asking me about chocolate chip cookies. Harry says, how are you, Tom? I wasn't watching the stream Oh, you've been watching the stream today. Oh, there's already chairs being thrown. The Bloodline are in attendance. Sami Zayn, the Usos and Solo Sikoa are throwing chairs about. Hot start to SmackDown already. I've had to be interrupted, as it were. I'm doing very well, thank you, Harry. I'm feeling a lot better. Roman Reigns is on his way down. It looks like we have a Roman Reigns in attendance. The Bloodline getting attention just before Roman makes his appearance. We've got Thomas here also saying hi, Tom. Sorry I missed the show earlier. You missed out on the perfect opportunity to plug Jay White matches, sir. You did. Welcome back. Venom says, hi, Tom. Welcome, Venom. How you doing? And Jaden says, I hope you're enjoying your cookies. I did. They are keep calm and keep caramelized and carry on, because that's what we need more of, apparently. Roman is in attendance, wearing his WWE Championship. 859 days was that? That is a long time. Peter, welcome, says, hey, Sir Tom of Colohue, you're the best on wrestling news. Thank you kindly. And Venom says, I'd Roman here. I would Roman here also, to be fair. If I could Roman, I would. And I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. Sean says, Imperium versus Street Profits and Tegan versus Xia Li are the dark matches. Imperium versus Street Profits as a dark match. What is the world coming to? Bailey says, if you didn't think it could get worse, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund is emerging as a possible bidder for WWE if the promotion puts itself up for sale. Sources told Front Office Sports. Wow. Isn't that fantastic for everyone? Thomas says, hi Tom, you can easily plug those matches right here, right now. You can, but that would be unfair. Harry says, is Bray Wyatt appearing tonight? Yes, he is. Bray Wyatt will be in attendance tonight. So if we're opening the show with Roman, this seems like a perfect time to sow a seed of doubt. The Usos are defending their championships later tonight against Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. And hey, if there's any problems, someone might find themselves getting kicked out of the Bloodline. If you are watching this live or on catch-up, please remember to hit that thumbs up. We have 4 likes so far, and I hope to see them grow over the course of the show. This time last week, we did finish on 6,900 views. I don't think we're going to hit that this time. We don't have the drawing power of John Cena to take advantage of, but we do have plenty of Roman, plenty of Drew McIntyre, plenty of Sami Zayn, Charlotte Flair's return, and more, pardon me, to talk about. And I've accidentally just opened a support thing. Sean says, I wonder if the 859 days is a Universal title reign and not the WWE. It is. The WWE title reign has not even been a year yet. Not even a year yet. Thomas is suggesting imagining Jay White versus Roman Reigns. It's alright. Justin says, how long will the Rumble pay-per-view be? With 2 Rumbles, Reigns entrance and a title match and a rumoured match, Edge versus Balor Hell in a Cell. Those 4 matches are at least 3 hours. True, and you also have, of course, the Mountain Dew Lights Out match and more to consider. I suspect it'll be a 4-hour pay-per-view, but I don't think it will reach the full 4 hours. Venom says, how come Roman isn't involved in backstage attacks? Because he's above that. He's clearly above that, and we all know it, Venom. He's just above that. He's too damn good. He's just too damn good. Megan Welcome says, Vince reclaimed control of the WWE on January 6th. Pause for irony. Vince McMahon hosting his own private and personal coup. Just leave that there. Harry is hoping Sheamus and Drew win tonight. I can't see it personally, though if they were a tag team with the championships, I'd be very excited by that prospect. Hector says, do you think we will actually learn what this pitch black match is, or any indication before the Rumble, or do they just keep us in the dark, if you will, till the match? Well, whatever it is, it's going to involve a lot of Mountain Dew. I don't know how that works, but apparently it's going to have to. I think they'll keep us in the dark There is an Usi chant in SmackDown. Sami naturally is very excited. Jay is hyped up for him. And their friendship is such a beautiful thing. And Roman has himself a microphone. Naturally, he's going to start with some acknowledgement. Hopefully, at least. Megan says Roman's WWE Championship reign is currently at 272 days. Good to know, Simon. Please remember spoilers. See, there you go, Thomas. You've got it now. Jay White versus Seth versus AJ versus Finn. Who would question? Who would question the possibility that would be amazing? Welcome, Simon, to the show. Harry is hoping for an Uncle Howdy appearance tonight. I'm sure we'll get at least some evolution of the Bray Wyatt Uncle Howdy, whatever it is, story. It's just a case of actually making it happen first. Hey, Stuart. How you doing, mate? Welcome to the show. Jane says, I'm excited for what's going to happen with Charlotte. And Venom says, no way Roman drops the Universal this year. Maybe the WWE title. That's what I expect. I very much expect what's going to happen is that Roman will stay on SmackDown with the Universal Championship. The WWE Championship will be left behind. Roman is giving Sami a chance to speak. I feel like it's a trap. I feel like this is a trap. Horsey is here, says, hey, Tom, welcome, Horsey. How you doing, mate? Welcome, everybody. Harry says, any news about Edge coming back? He should be back in time for the Rumble. His dates have refreshed now that it's a brand new year. And with this in mind, he should be returning very shortly to get involved in the action once again. Sami is celebrating what the Bloodline have been up to. But the fact is, he did lose the tag team match last week. I feel like it's a trap still. Sean says, I forgot to mention this during spoiler warning, but Ringside News said Mercedes' New Japan deal caught people off guard in WWE. One of the writers believed she would be back by the Royal Rumble. It didn't catch them off guard. She was pretty open about it. Simon says, why do some people, fans, journalists, people like Meltzer Alvarez always hate on the Bray Wyatt, Alexa Bliss supernatural stuff, considering Taker-Kane rivalry probably the best in WWE history? They disagree. They're consistent. Roman wants to talk about last week. Sami suddenly looks very, very nervous. Thomas says, hi Tom, what did you think of the scenario I sent you about an Ospreay versus Seth program? I feel we got there together, Thomas. I feel we got there together, and I liked it. Oh, and now I've accidentally opened Teams. What the hell is happening with me today? Bailey says, the Saudi group noted earlier is the same group that had a majority share of Newcastle United and LIV Golf. Of course. Of course. Doesn't that just make perfect sense? They're trying to buy the world. Trying to buy the world. I'm enjoying the salt and pepper in Roman's beard lately. You didn't lose Roman. Sami's just going to have to take this on the chin and accept it. Hector says, I still can't get over how great Dom was on Raw with a teardrop and saying prison changes a man. I'm ready for the feud of Ray. It's going to be great. It really will, won't it? I'd be very into that. Mega suggests a pay-per-view at St James Park. Fine by me, it's closer than London. And to be fair, you might actually be able to afford that one. Because the London, it's not looking good at all, is it? Not looking good at all. Venom says, do you think Roman turns on Sami now? No, not yet. I'll give it time. Kieran says, I want Edge to return, but he's just going to end up facing Finn again. And or teaming with Beth to face Rhea. Beth and Rhea are fine, but don't really want to see Finn and Edge again. Unfortunately, that seems like it's on the agenda again. There are some fans trying desperately to get a what chant going for Roman. It's not working. Do you want to be the tribal chief, Sami? Is that what you want? Harry says, I say Kevin Owens comes out and attacks Sami Zayn. Good luck to him. He'd have to get through 5 people to get to him. It's not going to happen. Simon says, Rosemary / Sue Young in the Undead Realm. Spooky Supernatural TNA Impact stuff are absolutely fantastic. Different people, fans of different things. People are entitled to their opinions. He does want to be the tribal chief, but that's respectful though. Paul Heyman's shocked face is very much selling this for me. Kevin Owens, of course, was expected to be here for the past few weeks to build towards his championship match at the Royal Rumble. I'd imagine someone has seen the booking. Thomas says, I wasn't sure on which show would be best for Seth to show up on in New Japan, as I don't watch enough to know which show would be more realistic for him to show up at. I'd love him in a G1, I really would. 4-3 says, personally, do you see the product changing creatively due to Vince? No, I don't, at least not as of yet. I do think he's going to struggle to keep his nose out, though. I mean, after all, it's Vince. Megan says, I looked at the hotel packages earlier for a giggle. It definitely did that. Kevin Owens is oddly serious. Sean says, who do you think will be the first new champion crowned in 2023? Maybe Bayley. Given what's going on with Charlotte, it's hard to tell. Hector says, Tom, does it surprise you WWE didn't try to book Wembley instead of the O2 unless they don't see Money in the Bank as a stadium show? They do see Money in the Bank as a big show, but they want to guarantee a sellout. They want to absolutely guarantee it. They want to be able to say, we sold out the UK before you, AEW. Simon, my thoughts are the same as they always have been when it comes to people bullying Alexa Bliss. It is absolutely pathetic and people need to grow up. Yes, Harry. Kevin Owens, as he's just announcing here, he will be taking on Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble. Sorry, Kevin Owens will be taking on Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. Thomas says, who would you have in a Team Ospreay at War Games versus a Team Seth? I wouldn't go that far personally, but I'll certainly let you pitch your concepts. Ospreay doesn't really need to worry about tag team partners. He has a whole faction behind him. Owens is trying to claim his victory, but he hasn't got one. Ooh, lovely final line there. Kevin Owens, as always, knows exactly how to make an impact. I don't know, Harry. There has been no Rey Mysterio appearance announced, so I don't know. No need to be sorry, Callie. How you doing, mate? Welcome to the show. Oh, they were pushing the Usos versus McIntyre and Sheamus, but they've gone to a commercial break instead. Simon says, who do you see, in your opinion, eventually beating Roman down the line in the future on SmackDown for his Universal Title Championship? There's a number of different possibilities, but as it's in the future, if it happens a year from now, it'll be someone we have no idea about. Could be Bron Breakker. I wouldn't hate it. I don't know if I'm the only person, but I wouldn't hate it. Sean says, the last time Roman said he wanted someone to leave was Daniel Bryan, and he actually left. Kevin Owens isn't actually leaving. He's very recently signed a new contract, don't worry. Bailey says, per the Wembley Stadium website, tickets are on sale for a Def Leppard concert on 1st of July. Megan, agreeing with this, there's also a small matter of there being a Def Leppard and Motley Crue happening on July 1st at Wembley that might get in WWE's way. It depends how late they booked this, to be fair. I do find it interesting that a while ago, after Clash of the Castle, they did a kayfabe press conference where a particular journalist stood up and was told to acknowledge the tribal chief. So what he did was he basically begged a little bit for his life. That's the guy who was given the news about the Money in the Bank pay-per-view going to the UK. He was given the news. The guy who acknowledged Roman Reigns at Clash of the Castle. interesting. Hector says, for the uninformed, does New Japan have weekly content or not? Because if they did, I'd be all in on that, especially after Wrestle Kingdom gave us banger after banger. I do believe New Japan Strong is weekly. That's essentially their American division, New Japan Strong. Still high quality wrestling, but you get a few less of the big name Japanese stars. Beyond that, they don't really do weekly programming. What they do is a lot in a short burst. What I would say, Hector, there's going to be, for example, the New Japan Cup, which is just one massive tournament. That'll be coming soon and well worth the watch. There will be the Best of the Super Juniors, which is essentially the junior heavyweights going nuts. Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, they were the junior heavyweights, the Super Juniors. Essentially, until you're about to go into the main event, you're a junior heavyweight. So it's everyone but the top stars going crazy and just absolutely competing. Then there's a tag league, which is a tag team tournament. But the cream of the crop, as it were, for New Japan, I've mentioned it before, but it's the absolute cream of the crop, is the G1 Climax tournament. When that comes around, I definitely suggest people watching it. It is well worth a watch. Essentially, they put their top wrestlers into 2 blocks of 10, and they each fight each other in the same way as like a Premier League. You get points for wins, you get nothing for a loss. If you get a score draw, you get 1 point each, and you get to see matches of all combination: heel versus heel, face versus face, faction versus faction, teammates versus teammates. It's a great time. That will be around July time though, so it'll be a while. Venom says, damn, KO ruined it. Roman was going to turn on Sami. Not quite. Venom says, do you reckon Roman is keeping the Universal title for the rest of the year? That's a long time to make that prediction. Simon says, Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns sounds like a Mania 40 in Philadelphia main event. Does it? I don't see it. Venom says, Brock has never won Blue Universal title and Goldberg never won the WWE title, and neither of them likely will. Kieran says, do you think Jay White losing is a sign of maybe a WWE or AEW move? Nope. He's never held the championship for very long. One thing you've learned very, very quickly about New Japan, Okada is firmly at the top. Firmly at the top. Anytime a big name takes on Okada's usually the one to win. The exception being Naito. Charlotte Flair has just arrived, and they actually allowed her to drive her own car. Unusual. I would imagine Charlotte's going to be the draw segment tonight. Interesting crowd response. I'd say that was positive, but unsure. Sean says, do you see Mercedes beating Kairi? I think it's certainly possible. It would be a hot shot of the title, but I do think Mercedes is going to bring a lot of eyes to the division, and if New Japan wants to capitalize on that, that's the plan. For a while now, they've been trying to capitalize on the eyes from America and trying to crack America, as it were. It's difficult because of the time difference, but Kenny Omega, for a long time, he was their global superstar who would get them beyond. Mercedes could be the one. The New Day are on their way down. I do love their 3D graphics. They're absolutely amazing. I wish everyone's 3D graphics were as interesting as the New Day's. They are wearing the NXT Tag Team Championships, drawing some positive attention. Justin says, I feel like it shouldn't be a women's title match at the Rumble. Let Ronda and Alexa be in the Rumble to add the star power of Becky, Bayley, Asuka, and Rhea. I think that works. I would agree with that. I definitely have Charlotte there in some capacity, but I wouldn't take out the big names, as it were. Much like the very first Royal Rumble, I might have Bianca and Charlotte ringside. Venom says, every time Goldberg wins a title, he never successfully defends it. Yeah, he's always been a means to an end. It certainly seems like what we're about to see is New Day versus Legado del Fantasma, which we're opening the Cruiserweight match, I feel, in the old WCW style, and I will absolutely take it. Absolutely. Simon, you need to remember to source things. I know who the source was, so try again. Peter is dropping the tables. Welcome, Peter. How you doing? Dropping tables. That's the way you impact yourself. Carmelina says, Roman was pissed. He was. He was spitting. He was angry. He wasn't going to turn yet. Bailey says, can we agree Vince isn't joining the Hall of Fame this year? I unfortunately don't feel that we can yet. Simon says, Matt Hardy was really very excited and happy about the possibility of Mercedes Moné coming into AEW next week on Dynamite on his podcast Extreme Life. And so you would be. If you can get big stars into your company, why wouldn't you? I do feel we need to realise the simplicity of a lot of this. Of course, Matt Hardy wants a huge name star to work in and around him. It's a lot like after the Dragon Lee signing when we heard, oh, WWE are going to try and sign big stars. Yeah, of course they are. Like, why would they not? In what world would it be a bad thing if they did? Of course they're going to try. It doesn't make much sense to me, a lot of the reports that we've seen recently and things like that. Chris Leclerc says something without a source. Please remember the source, Chris. Let us know what you heard that from, because sources are important. Jesus Christ. Okay, BT, I'll fix you. Sean says, I don't see Alexa in the Rumble if they do a rematch at Rumble between Alexa and Bianca after what happened on Raw. There is certainly reason for them to have a rematch. I don't necessarily think they're going to, though. After all, Alexa Bliss historically is in the Royal Rumble. That said, if she's going the dark character, they'll probably keep her out of it. Hector says, I kind of feel like the New Japan AEW deal is up and running again, considering they had Kenny, win that US title off of Ospreay, and it'll be on AEW TV, which is a benefit to New Japan in a way. Yeah, I'm confident we're going to see a rematch on AEW TV, and then a third and final match at the next big New Japan pay-per-view, in which case Kenny loses the championship back. It's good for all parties. Venom says, Legado interested in the NXT tag belts? Well, they could be. I mean, they're there. Stewie's excited for Kofi versus Santos. Thomas is suggesting people for a Team Seth versus a Team Ospreay. Obviously, United Empire have all the people you need. Simon says, is it going to be Alexa versus Bianca? Wait for a match announcement, mate. Just wait for one. It's not hard. Venom. The more you ask, the less likely it becomes. You know as well as I do, I'm just going to start ignoring you. I did it all through spoiler warning. I will continue to do so. I've told you already the point at which we are likely to have a Raw watch party. It ain't now. You gotta get over it. And I'm having BT issues. Wonderful. Simon says, do you prefer Kenny as a solo with or without outside help from Don Callis, Nakazawa, Brandon Cutler? Yeah. That's not a difficult question, I don't feel. He does his best work when he's solo. He always has. Always has. Thomas says, I really struggle with a Team Seth. Yeah, Seth historically does not make friends. True, Kelly. I do. I have a full-time job. I have to have a full-time job, otherwise I can't eat. So, gotta make it work. Thomas says, when is the Rumble? Thomas, I ain't sure. It is the end of the month. I believe the 29th. It's on a Saturday. It's on a Saturday. It's always nice when it's on a Saturday. That means Tom gets naps. I get to have a nap. I'll give you the Raw watch along then, because I want to then, because I can survive it for one day. But you're not getting them regular. Even if they do become like the most profitable shows, which the SmackDown ones have been, it's not going to happen. I have had to restart my PS4. As usual, BT is being an absolute whiny little bitch. So I'm going to try and make that work. Sean says, Cora and India are among names competing in a 20-woman Battle Royal to determine Roxanne's first challenger at Vengeance Day. Does Cora win the Battle Royal? If she's booked to, yes. If not, no. You're asking me for match results, Sean. You know better than this. You know better. Even when I do know match results, I still intentionally say the wrong thing sometimes. Match results are not a Tom Colohue special. There's a reason for that. There's times when, I'll be very open about it, like when there was suddenly a massive amount of reports saying, oh, Drew McIntyre is going to beat Roman Reigns at Clash of the Castle, when it was never going to happen. And so many people fell for it and didn't realise that they were being, they were being lied to. So times like that I'll mention it, but outside of that, there's no value to it. All I'm doing is spoiling things for people, and I don't see any benefit to that. Venom. Wait. Harry says, any news about CM Punk's return in AEW? There is no CM Punk return in AEW. He doesn't want to come back. He's negotiating a release and a big payout. Kieran says, I don't want Cora to win. It would just be her taking another loss to Roxanne. She would have lost to that Wendy Chu, which was stupid. Yeah, Cora at this point, she's not going to get big opportunities anytime soon. This new character is working for her. They're very happy with it. But it's not a champion. This character is not a champion. Venom says, do you think Toni Storm being announced to be a mystery partner is a swerve to make people think it's not Sasha? Well, I definitely think it was so that people don't think it's Sasha. I don't necessarily see how you'd call that a swerve. Essentially, they don't want people going in next week and, getting mad at them for the legitimate reason of not delivering on something they've promised or teased or whatever. Thomas says, do you see CM Punk going back to WWE? Nope. I see CM Punk vanishing and going away for a while because ultimately, I just don't think he cares about wrestling anymore. I don't think he did when he came back to AEW either. He was a flight risk then, he's a flight risk now. He always has been. CM Punk is a flight risk. We need to start remembering this. Kieran says, it would be funny if it's actually just Toni Storm. Imagine the disappointment in so many fans' eyes if it was just the person that they've told you it's going to be. You know how the fans hate it when you're honest with them. Finally back in. We are in at a point where the match is quite hot. The crowd is quite hot. Santos just got kicked in face. Honestly, I don't think Kofi's going to win this one. Kofi's been taking a couple of big losses recently. Gunter, for example. This, for me, Kofi's in sort of a run at the moment where he's giving back. And this is a way to do it. Venom says, do you think we could see Enzo and Big Cass back in WWE? They burn a lot of bridges. Big Cass is more likely. Harry says, do you think Dustin Rhodes will come back? No. Callie says, do you see Punk coming back? I've just said, no. And Kieran says, I do expect Shida to attack her or something like that. This says regards to Toni Storm. No worries, Sean. Don't worry about it. But I can't do match results. I can't do it. I can give my opinion, but asking me, does Cora win the Battle Royal? The answer is if she's booked to. That's the answer. Hector says, I'm not the biggest Kenny Omega fan, but his Sephiroth entrance gear was fantastic. My brother keyed me that his finisher is also the name of Sephiroth's theme, and I had no idea. The One-Winged Angel. And when you see the finisher, it actually makes sense. Sean says, Punk will probably stick to UFC commentary. The guy wants attention, and he will get it. He will find a way to get it. That's his thing. That's always been his thing. Going to AEW, after, by the way, everyone seems to forget how he embarrassed them previously by dangling himself in a contract on a string and being like, I want it, I want it, I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it. Thomas says, apart from Jay White, who would be your dream WWE signing? Shingo. Shingo Takagi would do very well in a ring with Gunter. Like that. Oh, I've said it now and I mean it. I mean it. Venom says, I'm a bit surprised New Day isn't defending the NXT tag belts on SmackDown. Well, I don't know if they can. And you never know. That might be the plan for next week after Santos Escobar beats Kofi Kingston. Barely interesting. How you doing, mate? You're up late. Says, has there been any movement on Ring of Honor getting a permanent show on TV, YouTube, or an internet platform? Not as of yet. Tony Khan is still working on it, but at the moment, they have bigger fish to fry. The AEW TV deal for Dynamite is coming up soon, and they are in a weaker position than they were when it was first negotiated. They don't have the highest amount of confidence in getting a TV deal even as good as the one that they currently have. More negotiation is needed. They're hoping that a couple more TV stations enter the fray so that they can drive the price up in a bit of a bidding war. We'll see how it plays out. Hope you're doing good, man. Venom says, it'd be good to see the NXT tag belts change on SmackDown, but that wouldn't be good for NXT. It wouldn't. It absolutely would not. It would not work in any way, shape, or form. I would imagine Santos Escobar is going to beat Kofi, demand a tag team title opportunity, and then lose next week. That's how I would personally see this going myself. Thomas, you know what you're doing and it's not fair. For those who don't know Shingo Takagi is a brute. Minoru Suzuki, Murder Grandpa, is a brute. Shingo doesn't just keep up with him. he exceeds him. There was a point in which they were butting heads like dogs and you could hear the crunch and it was horrifying. Shingo Takagi, man, he is tough, he's hard, there's not much you can do to stop him. I would love to see him in a WWE ring against someone like Gunther. It would just be beautiful, and I need it. We are still in our opening match, and it's been very entertaining so far. The crowd definitely way into it. Xavier Woods is making sure everyone's hyped up with a bit of Francesca action. Santos Escobar, for his part, has played it well, but so far... Oh, hang on. Breaking news from the Royal Rumble. Is this going to be them announcing Hell in a Cell? 40 men? What's it going to be? Is it going to be Charlotte? It's probably going to be Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns being made official, isn't it? Sean says, do you think they should have had Bron Breakker win the belt back from Dolph on NXT? Feel it didn't do anything for the title changing on Raw. Yeah, it didn't do much, but after all, they were just trying to get a bit more attention. So, in that way, it worked, but NXT is not quite what it was. Zelina Vega is distracting Xavier Woods. Santos Escobar has been handed the initiative. Hits a version of a Michinoku driver. And that's job done. Zelina Vega earning her pay there. Kofi Kingston, as I've said, has been picking up some losses recently. He's been putting people over, and you got to respect it. Harry says, do you think Braun Strowman faces Gunther at the Royal Rumble? I did release my match card predictions already. They are currently sat on my YouTube if you want to check that out. Jay Quick, welcome mate, says, I think after Roman yelled at Sami that Sami was glad that he was wearing dark pants. It would be scary. Roman's a big dude. And Venom says, I noticed Charlotte seems to win the SmackDown title more than the Raw one. Yep, primarily because she's on SmackDown. Okay, the breaking news is the confirmation of the championship match. They have confirmed that Roman Reigns will take on Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble. This was heavily rumoured previously. Also heavily rumoured was Ronda Rousey versus Raquel Rodriguez. Didn't quite happen, that one. Hector says, for conversation's sake, say WWE was sold to a streaming platform like Netflix or Amazon. Would they still be as profitable or close to it without a TV deal or no? I'm going to go with no, primarily because they can't grow their audience. How do they get new viewers if it's something that people actually have to go and look for? It makes it a bit more difficult for me. This is the thing. The WWE wants to be treated as a legitimate sport. Legitimate sports are all the time and everywhere. You cannot look without immediately seeing sports available. The WWE, if you take it off TV, people aren't going to go and look for it to the same degree that they will go and look for a football match featuring their same team. Their favourite team. Paul Heyman is refusing Sami Zayn access to the Bloodline locker room. It is a slight downgrade for Sami, but I'm confident he'll be able to work his way back to it. Venom says, I wonder if Edge returns soon to build to a Hell in a Cell match. I'm confident he'll return soon. His dates have been reset. We should see him shortly. Though it was interesting seeing, I think it was Zero News and it was Louis Dangor of Give Me Sport who reported that we were going to see Edge on Raw. We were going to see, he was definitely going to be there. And then it just didn't happen. This, of course, is the same guy who reported that last year's WrestleMania we were going to have a 4 Horsewomen match before it got pulled. Bless. Bailey says Roman is 100% favoured to win at the Rumble. Doesn't really surprise us, does it? And Sean says Roman versus Kevin at the Rumble. What happens to the talk of Sheamus versus Roman at the Rumble? Sheamus versus Roman was expected to be before the Royal Rumble, in the interim period, but it seems like they've been focusing mostly on tag teams. Sheamus, by the look of it, has just sort of fallen off the radar. I would have been excited by Sheamus versus Roman, but the moment just hasn't happened. I'm very disappointed. I think Sheamus has earned that championship opportunity, even if it wasn't going to be going, but the storyline is Kevin Owens, the storyline is Sami Zayn. I can't help but respect how they're going with that. We are currently sitting on 71 viewers, but only 11 likes. If you are currently watching on YouTube, please remember that little thumbs up can make a massive difference to the growth of the channel, and I would very much appreciate your support. So please remember to hit like. If you'd like to chat, if you'd like to jump in, always remember that we are subscriber only chat here. All you have to do is click subscribe. You'll get a notification every time we go live with our SmackDown watch parties, with our pay-per-view watch parties, with our Monday and Friday spoiler warning news show. Today, for example, we shared a lot of information about Vince McMahon and what was going to be happening there. So by all means, hit subscribe. You'll be able to jump in the chat, jump in the conversation, I'll answer whatever questions you have within certain reason. We have had a few troubling trolls recently, and we'll make things happen. So please remember to subscribe. Sean said Zero also said Cody was going to be on Raw. Yeah. Again, we track when they do well, because there are definitely times when they do, and we track when they don't do well, because there are definitely times when they don't. They were the first to report that it was going to be Gunther versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. We'll see how that goes. I know, Thomas. I know. Venom said they should just go in there. Do you reckon Roman is defending the title separately at Mania? I personally still do. But that is just my opinion. I was the first to start talking about Roman Reigns doing double duty. That was being discussed backstage at the time, but it seems like it may be being discussed a little bit less. Code said, is that 4 matches for the Rumble now? I believe it is, yes. The 2 Rumble matches, the Mountain Dew Lights Out match. We can't forget to do the do. And of course, the WWE Championship match. I'm still expecting maybe Gunther versus Strowman, and I'd be surprised if Charlotte doesn't defend. Venom says if Roman is losing the WWE title first, it should be in a triple threat where he doesn't get pinned. It needs to be the pin for Universal title that's the important one. I'm sure the Universal title change is going to be an important one, but they have to get at least one belt off him at some point, and Cody winning that WWE Championship just makes sense to me. Chad is laughing about the prospect of AEW buying WWE. Welcome, Chad. Hector says if Roman happens to keep the title till July, maybe Sheamus could get a shot at the title at Money in the Bank, since that's the closest PLE he will get to Ireland currently. True. I don't think there's many actual Brits remaining in the WWE that could challenge Roman, for example. Thomas said if you could sign 5 people from any promotion to WWE, who would you sign? Sorry, guys. Sorry about that, guys. I'm still not perfect. Liv Morgan is backstage. Looks like she's about to announce for the Rumble. I may or may not be buying time to come up with my 5 people. Why is Liv talking about entering the Rumble last? She wants to enter first. Bold. Okay, it's an okay backstage segment. It's not tremendous, but she did the job well. They are making a point of a 30-woman Royal Rumble match. They're making a point of that. So, 5 people from any promotion. So, it would 100% be Jay White, Kairi Sane, Jon Moxley, MJF, and Rosemary. Harry says, do you think Cody Rhodes might enter the Rumble? Yes, he will enter the Rumble. He is currently the favourite to win, but he'll definitely enter. Cody says, Gunther vs. Strowman is next week, I think. Right, okay. That is something Triple H has been doing. He's been trying to get a championship match on every single Raw and SmackDown. And obviously it is his personal habit to try and keep the pay-per-views quite limited, if you get what I mean. So there's only a few matches. So he sent to drop them onto the Raw and SmackDown before. Works for me, I ain't complaining about it. Venom said if Roman isn't doing double duty, how does he drop the WWE title? Someone challenges him for it and he defends it. Venom said pointless segments of people saying, I'm in the Rumble. And Sean says Roman versus Kevin is a rematch from the 2021 Rumble, which was a last man standing match with the handcuffs, yes. We are backstage and Kayla Braxton is interviewing LA Knight. Will we see some Uncle Howdy? Will we get more mentions of Mountain Dew? Very similar to Elias, LA Knight really got the crowd going and then crapped all over him. I love it when that happens. Absolutely love it. Thomas says, if there is a 40-man Royal Rumble, how many surprise entrants do you see happening? Plenty, about 10. Gotta fill it up somehow. We are now on 97 viewers, but still only 15 likes. Please remember, hit that thumbs up. We keep growing as a channel, and before you know it, I'm able to do full time and do like Raw watch parties and stuff. Megan just very hyped about LA Knight on the show. Sean says, any NXT women in the Rumble? Unlikely. They are very separate now, and there's more than enough women to fill a Rumble. They are hyping up the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. You have to mention the Mountain Dew, guys. You have to mention it. It's not fair if you don't. Karrion Kross is now making his entrance. I'd imagine we're about to see some Rey Mysterio. Sorry guys, the cough's come back a little bit. Bailey says, LA Knight has mic skills, but why do you think he hasn't clicked? I think he has clicked. I think he's connecting with the crowd very, very well. I think working with Bray Wyatt has got a lot of attention onto him as well, which is obviously very beneficial. I just think he hasn't really had enough yet. He's been on the main roster a very small amount of time. Thank you very much for subscribing, Schultzless. Someone who is devoid of Schultz. I'm sorry to hear that, Schultzless. You'll get a notification every time we go live with our SmackDown watch parties, spoiler warning, shorts, and plenty more. Ooh, actually, I stand corrected. It won't be Rey Mysterio, it'll be Madcap Moss. Emma picking a fight with Scarlett backstage. Are we getting a mixed tag match? Is Scarlett debuting? Probably not in that. Probably not in that. Maybe a one-on-one match instead. Where was I? Yeah, so I just think he needs a little more time to bed in and to get comfortable and for the fans to just get used to him. The crowd are interested. That's half the battle. Thank you, Harry. I appreciate that. I was certainly feeling a lot better during spoiler warning. I just think it's a bit late. Maybe I haven't drank enough. I am recovering a lot better than I did. Callie says, LA Knight is good on the mic. He absolutely is. Very Oh, it is a mixed tag team match. Scarlett is officially making her SmackDown debut. In the middle of a random SmackDown, which is not even the draw segment. That's interesting wrestling attire. A lot of tape involved, I'd imagine. Hopefully. Megan says, I like what I like. What can I say? That's absolutely fair, Megan, and I respect you for it. Thomas says, with the poster for the Rumble being a lot of electricity, do you think that hints at an appearance of The Rock? Well, if it doesn't, then about 15,000 different people on Twitter are in the wrong, because my word, there were a lot of people who saw that and immediately decided, well, it must mean The Rock. Venom wants to separate the tag belts. Tonight is not going to be your night on that one. And Sean says, I hope WWE doesn't do like last year and spoil some entrants. They will be spoiling some. After all, the new poster literally has Cody Rhodes on it. Literally, Cody Rhodes is right there. Bobby Lashley's in the front row, though, which is quite nice. Kelly says, as regards Cross, he was amazing on NXT. Venom says, Moss and Emma versus Cross and Scarlett seems to be a match we are being teased, so it should happen, and that is the match that we are seeing. Thomas also saying, I think Scarlett is wrestling. Hector says, it says a lot about LA Knight that his first main roster pay-per-view match is on one of the biggest pay-per-views they have. And it's a big spot for him. It really is. Nobody really knows what a Mountain Dew Lights Out match actually is. But it's a very big spot for him. And I really do have high hope for what he can deliver in this. It's just, will the format suit him? It's very rare that any format involving Bray Wyatt suits the opponent. I like what he did there, Peter. Let's hope we get Karrion Kross and not Karrion Dross. Harry is hoping Madcap and Emma win. Well, If that happens, it's probably Carrion taking the pin. Sean says Scarlett did debut once in WWE as a jobber against Nia. That was a way back. It was a very different person. I remember her looking absolutely terrified. We try and forget these things. There are some situations where we're not willing to forget. For example, Karrion Kross and the helmet. We're not willing to forget that. Scarlett Bordeaux debuting against Nia Jax. We're willing to forget that. Same with Deonna Purrazzo. Callie says, I was on about LA Knight. Sorry. It's alright, mate. Don't you worry. Thomas says, I'm only thinking that because the Extreme Rules poster had hints to Bray Wyatt hints in them. They did. There was a lot of push and hints of Bray Wyatt at the time. And of course, let's not forget that I literally a couple of weeks before said, oh, Bray Wyatt signed again. Expect to see him soon. Good times. Venom says it's obvious Cross and Scarlett are winning. I think that's more likely personally. And Callie said, this should be interesting. Never seen Scarlett wrestle before. I believe she can carry a match. I've heard she's absolutely fine contender in the ring. And should hold her own quite comfortably. Thomas says, Tom, any news on The Rock? Nope. Absolutely nothing. And Peter says, hope we get LA Night and not LA Fright. I'm here all night. That's a big rhyme. That's a big rhyme. Well done, you. Megan says, I'm not going to forget that Shayna Baszler should have won the Royal Rumble in 2020. Will not forget, nor will I forgive that stupid-ass decision. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Changing last minute to Charlotte just did not work. Shayna was the right call. Scarlett is officially in the ring. She that wasn't so much a takedown as a fall over. So far, she's just being thrown around. Let's do some wrestling moves. Let's do some awkward. Emma, of course, returned, lost to Ronda Rousey, and since then she's just sort of been there. She's popped up constantly. She's featured constantly, but she's not exactly featured in a big way. She pops up backstage, has a couple of choice words for Madcap Moss, and then she moves on. There is a definite intensity to what she's doing right now that suggests maybe she's not too comfortable in her position. That's what I would say there. Stuart says she had good reason to look terrified against Nia. The likelihood of her getting injured was slightly higher than normal. To be fair, Nia Jax early on didn't really injure people. It was late on that started. Harry says, any news about Tyson? Okay, so the camera just cut out. I'm guessing there wasn't enough tape. Yeah, I'm guessing there wasn't enough. She's tucking back in. There wasn't enough tape. Harry's asking, any news about Tyson Fury coming back to WWE, maybe for a sing-along? The sing-along was never supposed to be aired. That was an awkward moment for everyone involved. That was just supposed to make sure that the crowd left happy rather than being miserable at their favourite. That was a genuine kick to the face. It was a very slow count. To make sure the crowd left happy. Tyson Fury, they want him back. They want him back involved. Chances are the next time we see him will be Money in the Bank. Ben says, Tom, what pay-per-view will you be challenging Roman for the WWE Universal title? You guys know this. You guys are fully aware of this. It's obviously going to be TLC. You know how this works. In a tables match. Sean says, would we say Becky winning at WrestleMania 36 is a bad call? Nope, absolutely not. It was the only call. Scarlett has provided a distraction, a trip to Madcap Moss. Karrion Kross is laying down, having not really been hit by anything. Scarlett is getting some offense in, if you can call it that. Karrion Kross, however, let's not forget, he only tends to win when Scarlett is in his corner, so we weren't sure about that one. But that was the end coming. It's over. Madcap's going to do the pass out rather than tap. Gotta respect it. Gotta respect it. As you might expect, Karrion Kross and Scarlett, a very short match in the end. An okay debut for Scarlett. I don't think she was able to actually do much. They didn't let her do much. But they definitely hit a wardrobe malfunction in there because something went wrong. Are they putting... they're putting a Rey Mysterio mask on Madcap Moss. As Thomas said, is the Cross and Mysterio match on the back burner? No, it is not. It is incoming. It's just not finished just yet. Karrion Kross wants Rey Mysterio. Kieran says Shayna got a pretty decent pop in that Rumble as well. The empty... Atari card, the empty head, was that? And yes, Kieran, Shayna did get a pretty decent pop. There was a lot around her at the time. A lot of people were really hyped about the idea that she'd be in the Rumble. And when she came... when she came in, she cleared house. She caused carnage. She was very fun and very entertaining. Something went wrong along the way, unfortunately. Peter said, I did watch your show earlier. Saddened me to hear of the monster that is McMahon was returning. Hopefully not for long, but I dread the future. Bailey says, unpopular opinion, but watching Royal Rumble is more fun than watching WrestleMania. I kind of agree. The Royal Rumble matches are very entertaining and are easily the best match type in wrestling. Hector says, didn't Bray lose to Randy at TLC 2020 in a Firefly Inferno match? That seemed to be a match that was catered towards Bray. Yes, he did. And Bray Wyatt was set on fire. That was the beginning of... it was the beginning of Burnt Bray. Thomas says, who are your outside winners of both Rumbles for me? It is Shayna and Sami. Outside winners are hard to predict. Like an outside winner could potentially be The Rock at this point. You could call him an outside winner. If we're going to go outside, it's got to be really wide outside. So let's say Sasha Banks. That's the outside. It's out of nowhere. And Sheamus? I'd go Sheamus. I'd potentially give it to Gunther, to be honest. I'd love to see him win a Rumble and go on to face Roman while still being the Continental Champion. Venom says, this feels like a one-on-one match. Yep. Harry says, is the TLC pay-per-view coming back? We'll find out shortly. Callie wasn't a fan, says, well, that was crap. Kieran says, I watched the stream on Fox, and that didn't cut out. Ah, shame. Sorry to hear. Venom says, Cross is still a joke that can't win without Scarlett. Not a surprise, we knew it was happening. And Sean says, did you enjoy when Shayna dominated the chamber match? Yeah, I absolutely did. I had high hopes for Shayna Baszler. Really high hopes. And what actually happened was that she came in, bit someone, and then vanished entirely. The tag team with Nia Jax wasn't bad. When they defeated the Golden Role Models, I feel that added a lot of credibility to them, and they were on the right trajectory. It just went wrong fast, and if you'll forgive it, hard. It went really wrong really fast. Venom says, TLC was my favourite pay-per-view, pisses me off, they get rid of it. Well, there's no guarantee they've got rid of it just yet, but it seems very, very likely. Peter says it'll be me and you, last man standing at the Rumble. You know it's true. Sure it will. Sure, that's definitely something that's going to happen, Peter. Definitely. Told you, tables matches. It's the only thing I can do. I do tables matches. Tom does tables. That's the law. Thomas says, do you think they now do Ronda and Shayna going after the tag belts? Yes, I do. And the primary reason I think that is because Ronda Rousey has herself said so. She has made a clear point on her gaming stream that she's not that interested in going after Charlotte Flair. She's not that interested in going after the SmackDown Women's Championship. She might try out the Tag Team Championships, and after all, Shayna Baszler is right there. She's right there, and it's a great opportunity for her to hold gold. Great opportunity for her. Hector says, if they know whether or not The Rock will be available by the Rumble, I kind of want to see the men's Rumble winner coming from SmackDown, Cody entering first in the chamber and winning that to get his shot. So for the double duty, is that what you're saying? Sean says, will Damage Control break Kabuki Warriors' reign as longest reigning women's tag team titles? Maybe, but it depends how many times they lose the titles in the meantime. They'll certainly have it a lot, but maybe not enough. Venom says, let me guess, Ronda's going to come and cry that she's not champ. That is the exact opposite of what I've said, in fact, Venom. I could not be more wrong for what I just said. Even if you desperately were trying to say something completely opposite, you still could not be more wrong on that one. My throat feels a lot better now. Bit by bit, we're getting there, guys. Bit by bit. BT isn't. BT is being an absolute shitball. I feel I've watched half of SmackDown now, and that's about it. I don't even know if it's working, if it's fun. I couldn't even tell you. At the end of it, I'm not going to be able to give it a rating because I haven't seen enough of it. Venom says, I want Charlotte to have a different challenge other than Ronda. I thought they were going to give us Ronda versus Charlotte at the Rumble, though. Hope not. Thomas says, I've just said in the promo to the Rumble, 30 men and 30 women. Thank you, Thomas, for the clarification there. Venom and Callie, are you talking about ads on YouTube or are you talking ads on SmackDown? Have we gone straight from ads to a promo to ads? Or is it ads on YouTube? Gotcha. Thank you, Venom. I never know on YouTube when ads come in. Like, I can click a button and give you an ad, but I don't really want to. It just doesn't seem that appealing to me, the concept. Justin says, what do you feel is more likely at the Rumble? Edge versus Balor, Brock versus Bobby, or Alexa versus Bianca? Edge versus Balor. I feel that's more likely at this point in time. Edge is due back. Judgment Day have been featured strongly for a while now. This seems an ideal opportunity for Finn Balor to have an opportunity to really keep cementing himself, because I've got to be honest, he's not going to be a big deal in the Rumble. Callie believes they're scraping the barrel to put a good show together. We'll see on that one. The main event should be fun, and honestly, the first match was very good. They're continuing to build towards Cross versus Rey Mysterio. Cross needed to be rebuilt. The work against Drew McIntyre simply did not work in his favour. Oh, that one hurt. Stuart quite rightly pointing out the ads are dictated by when the Americans go to advert, so not really much BT can do about it. True, they don't even know how long they are going to go to ads on Fox, so they tend to either underdo it or overdo it ever so slightly whenever they're going to break. Callie, unfortunately, that's just not a question I can answer. They like to sell that advertiser space. Fox makes a lot of money from it. WWE gets quite a lot of that money themselves. They are talking about Money in the Bank in London. I can't say the crowd are too excited for it, but I can't help but notice so far they've not actually mentioned the Daily Mail. The one that they actually leaked the information to has not been featured. They listed all those headlines and didn't mention the one they actually leaked the information to. Interesting. Megan says, this is why I hope a streaming service by WWE so Brisk can yeet BT Sport. I can't see otherwise. If it's something like Netflix, I have access to that, so we could work with that. Sean says, Indiana Jones 5 and Transformers Rise of the Beast. I'm interested in both. I genuinely thought that was one movie. Indiana Jones and Transformers Rise of the Beast. McIntyre and Sheamus are at a pub. Apparently Jerry Lawler's pub. They're cutting a promo in a pub. Oh, it's a Jerry the King Lawler museum. It's not actually a pub. They're in a gift shop. They're in a gift shop. Bailey says, to the earlier point about Amazon, a lot of the Fox viewers are casual viewers, which add to the totals for free. People don't wander over to Amazon. They don't. They don't. They sign up for it and they stick around. I don't think they've got anywhere near the coverage that Fox has. That said, I still quite enjoy having a WWE network. Works for me. Oh, a mention of the Thunderdome. At this point, they're just chopping each other in the chest. No, Peter, I'm not going to Money in the Bank. I'm going to be right here hosting a watch party as usual. Justin says, seeing Alexa Money in the Bank 2018 pick on their good times we aren't getting back. She did that purely so that Ronda Rousey could beat her up and injure her at SummerSlam, let's be fair. Venom says there'll be 6 tag team champs. A shame the Usos are obviously winning. I agree. I would really enjoy this as a tag team. I'm really happy with everything happening right now, to be fair. I wonder if that's actually going to bring a lot of people to the Jerry the King Lawler Museum. I can't expect yes. I can't. I just can't. Hector says, I wonder if they scrapped the Baron Corbin JBL storyline. It's been a while since we've seen either. I wouldn't say scrapped it, but they are focused on Royal Rumble. And that just isn't really fitting with what they're going for at the minute. The draw segment is indeed Charlotte Flair. They're a bit late to the draw segment, to be honest. I'm not sure how real that cheer was. Because it's happened when they said new. Her name was already on the thing. Now we find out whether she's going to be welcomed or rejected. Megan says a Scotsman and an Irishman enter a bar. The barman is able to put his kids through school by the end of the night. I mean, we know how to drink. We do. Sean says, think the WWE Network will ever return to the US? No. No, but I'm glad I have it. Sean says, not a fan of Charlotte's new theme. It's too much like her dad's theme. Her old theme was much more like her dad's theme because it involved her dad's theme. Her new theme is a lot less like her dad's theme. I'm still not necessarily a fan of it. Her previous theme was iconic. And I was happy to rock out to it a little bit. But this feels a lot more like Roman's theme, you know? We've moved on. Bailey says Charlotte has one of the smaller fan bases online for a champion such as her stature. Very true. She is about to be, well, not about to be immediately, but she will become the reigning holder of the record for most world championships. She will overtake Ric Flair. That's going to happen. I've been saying it for years and I stand by it. We are this close, let's be fair. I certainly can't imagine this is her last one. I hear lots of woos. She seems very happy to be back. G-pop. There's a few boos sneaking through there. That wasn't the most welcomed line. Okay, so mention of Ronda Rousey. I don't necessarily think that's done with if we're mentioning Ronda in the promo. Well, Sean, if that's the case, then she just has to start rejecting championships. I don't really hear much of a thank you, Charlotte, myself. Hector says, Tom, are you excited for The Last of Us show on HBO Max? I'm always wary of live adaptations of video games, but I'm willing to give it a chance. I absolutely am. I'm going to be watching that almost immediately as soon as I can. I need that in my life. Thank you very much for subscribing. That's a hell of a palindrome you've got going on right there. It is indeed. Charlotte controlling the crowd nicely there. She does have quite a good grip over the crowd. That's always been the case. Thank you very much for subscribing. You will get a notification every time we go live with our SmackDown watch parties, with our pay-per-view watch parties, our Monday and Friday live spoiler warning news shows, where you'll find exclusive news you can't find anywhere else. Welcome to the show. Bailey says Ric Flair is the most recognised title at 17, though Jerry Lawler claims 28 world titles, none of which were in the WWE. Standard. Eric says, Tom, tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Madcap and Ali could be mid-card champs. Instead, they seem to be jobbing a lot. They could be. The opportunity has not been handed to them. Justin says, to be fair, does Sami and KO versus Usos need the tag belts? It doesn't, but I do feel it's a bit more of a coronation of Sami Zayn if they are involved. Venom says, do you think Sasha returns this year? She's actually in New Japan at the minute, if you haven't seen her. Eric says, and the robe is back. Charlotte's getting interrupted by Sonya Deville. Okay. I can get behind this. I know what's going to happen, obviously, but I can get behind this. Every now and then I forget about Sonya Deville. It makes me sad. Venom says, is she having a match? She's now dressed to compete. Well, Sonya seems to be dressed to compete as well. Thomas says, Tom, do you know when is Pat expected back? I expect he'll be in and around the Rumble. Colin says, hey Tom, will Bray Wyatt be on tonight? I would imagine so, yes. They're making a mission of having him on every week. He won't be cut for time. Callie says, face or heel. They're clearly booking her as a face. We'll see if that lasts. If she's against people like Sonya Deville, she'll be fine. Venom says, it'll be good to see Randy win the WWE title and have a decent reign of it. I don't think he'll ever win the WWE Championship again, personally. Also says, good to see her as a face. She's always a heel. And you want Charlotte versus Bianca. If it's Charlotte versus Bianca, then she's not a face, is she? Because Bianca's definitely the face there. Sean says, I never thought we would live in an era where all of the horsewomen aren't in the same company. If you'd told me that back when they debuted, I would have called you a nut job. There would always be a moment when someone retired, mate. It's the era we're living in. Sonya is indeed here to fight. Is that the thing now? Sonya Deville's become the fighter? Is that her thing? She wants a championship match. Charlotte Flair versus Sonya Deville for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Historically, Charlotte would have just said no at this point. They're definitely going face. Sean says, will Randa be out all of 2023 too? I cannot sit here and say one way or the other on that one. Can't. Venom says they could do face versus face. They've done it before. They absolutely could. I don't feel that would happen with Bianca. She's too much of a face. Thomas says if Cody wins the title, I'd love to see a feud of Randy over the title. I don't think you're going to see it anytime soon. Randy Orton is seriously injured, guys. Like, he wants to come back. Doesn't mean he's gonna. Doesn't mean he's gonna. We all have big dreams. What can I say? And we are immediately going into commercial break after one big kick. Sonya Deville, I feel, is the ideal first opponent for Charlotte. She's a understandable heel, very good on the mic, decent in the ring, will certainly get the response that the crowd are looking for. You'll get a good quality match, but you'll also get a good reason to boo. It's establishing Charlotte. Makes sense. Sean says Sonya is so talented and underrated, one push away from being a big star. Yep, and she was extremely close to it. There was going to be a SmackDown Women's Championship feud between Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose way back when, but the moment has since passed. Kieran Callie, I don't really know what they meant by trick there. Not really sure. She didn't seem happy about it. Venom says, do you think Alexa beats Bianca at the Rumble for the title? No. Thomas says they're going to need a major heel to face Charlotte. They are, and unfortunately, that's Ronda Rousey. There isn't really anyone else. Venom says they're certainly trying to get Charlotte cheered, aren't they? They are, and in many ways, let's be fair, they are succeeding. You have to give them credit for that one. Peter says, Sonya got a bit of sellotape on her eyebrow. She is not. It's designed that way, what can I say? And Justin says, Royal Rumble is my favourite event of the year. Mine too, wholeheartedly agree. It is one of those shows that simply does not fail to deliver, apart from last year, because last year sucked. Last year was terrible. Hector says, Tom, have you heard any updates on Seth? Feel like if he had a serious injury, we'd know by now, surely. Haven't heard anything, and he is still being advertised to be in the Royal Rumble. So if there is a major injury, they're continuing to false advertise, and that doesn't really happen under Triple H. So I don't think that's particularly likely at this point in time. Venom says, if that's the case, no point in turning a heel. They're making all this effort to get her cheered. True, but I never thought they were going to turn her heel. I thought the fans were going to turn her heel by not listening. Thomas says, they did bring the Royal Rumble to the UK, would you go? Nope, I'd be hosting a watch party right here. I've been very clear on this and I stand by it. That's what I do. I host watch parties for pay-per-views here and I'm planning to stick around. Temi says, when are the Usos fighting Drew and Sheamus? In about half an hour. In about half an hour, the Usos will fight Drew and Sheamus in the main event of SmackDown. Gotcha, Justin. Thank you. I appreciate the extra knowledge there. I certainly wouldn't have known that one. If anyone wants Charlotte versus Bayley, we've seen quite a bit of it. And I don't think we're going to see it at the moment because, you know, different brands and stuff. But Bayley still has every opportunity of getting involved in the big feuds. Thomas says, would you be interested in doing Wrestle Kingdom live shows in the future if we're full-time? Yes. That is only something I can commit to if we were full-time, which, of course, we are not at this point in time. My target for the end of the year is 5,000 subscribers. 5,000. Ultimately, the subscriber count doesn't mean all that much anymore, but that is where a lot of my focus is. And I want people to subscribe because I want viewers. I want people. I want people chatting. I want people chatting away and having a great time. Even if you just listen to this podcast style, that works brilliantly for me. It's a watch party. Watch the show, put me in your ear. I'm very happy with that. Chat away, do your thing. I know a lot of people are doing so. Why watch wrestling alone when you can watch it with a community of like-minded fans? Why not? But yeah, if I get to the point where I'm full-time, then shows like Wrestle Kingdom, the G1, Raw, AEW pay-per-views, I'll be able to cover a lot more. Whereas right now, unfortunately, I just can't do that. Andy Barr says, I can't wait for Triple H's first booked Royal Rumble, nor can I. After all, the last Royal Rumble was not very impressive, largely because of the involvement of Shane McMahon. He's got a point to prove. Thomas says, have you got any bold predictions for WWE in 2023? Nothing particularly bold. I think Sami Zayn's going to be a world champion, but I don't think that's particularly bold at this point. Venom says, Alba Fire needs to be moved up. She's an amazing wrestler and has good matches, or would have good matches with Becky, Charlotte and Bianca. I agree, but as with everything else, there has been a lot of cancelled NXT call-ups recently. NXT is not getting the focus. Stuart says, you need to be full-time for AEW. Their pay-per-views take a week. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Not great in that regard. If you are currently watching on YouTube, big thank you. We have just broken 3,000 views on the live show so far. We currently have 49 viewers and 25 likes. Please remember, if you've not yet done so, hit that thumbs up for me. It does make a massive difference. And subscribe if you haven't already for more watch parties every single week. Of course, if you're watching on the other side, on the Twitch side, you can still click follow to get your notifications as well. Pardon me, as well. Sean says, Alexa or Bayley aren't a big enough heel to face Charlotte. There are certainly mixed feelings on that one. Ideally, this would be a perfect time for a Nia Jax, by the way. Someone universally hated. Megan says, what are you talking about? There was no Rumble last year. There absolutely wasn't one. Nope, didn't happen. Sure it didn't. You know what, Megan? I don't want to take away the denial that clearly you need right now. So you enjoy. Charlotte's hit the spear. She's going for the figure eight. Looks like that will be that. That's what, a 5-minute match. Sonya Deville does indeed tap. It's been a long time since Sonya Deville won a match. But this time last year we were saying that about Sami Zayn. I'm not convinced by that crowd response. I'm just not. I have concerns. Kieran says the coming pay-per-view is going to have a 1-hour Iron Man match. A Mountain Dew Iron Man match? Callie says, well done, Tom. Thank you, Callie. Appreciate that. Andy Barr says, who booked the last Royal Rumble? I know Shane McMahon was involved, but he wasn't in charge, as it were. Helms, for example, had a lot to do with it. Thomas says, just wanted to check my understanding on the Vince news. Am I correct in thinking that Vince cannot control creative plans on who is hired and fired? He can if he chooses to. He's just choosing not to. So we're about to get a hype package for Cody Rhodes. Now, guys, I've said it for a while. I'll say it again. This guy's the favourite to win the Royal Rumble. This guy's the favourite to take on Roman at WrestleMania. Way back when in January, I was reporting that Cody Rhodes would return at WrestleMania to take on Seth Rollins. I was the one reporting he wouldn't appear until WrestleMania. And immediately after Hell in a Cell, I was the one reporting he'll be back in January for the Royal Rumble. I believe that's free for free. Because here he comes again. Venom says, Becky and Charlotte as tag champs. That was teased before, but it never happened. Didn't it? I swear there was a TLC match where they were the champions. Dominic says, hi Tom, are they going to have the Andre the Giant Battle Royal? They are planning to do so, but it will be on SmackDown. Thomas says, who would you have feud with Cody if he does win the title that isn't Seth? I think there's quite a few immediate options. I'd give him a feud of Austin Theory. I think that could be a lot of fun. Like from the off. Even if that's just on Raw, for example. It depends whether or not they make the move. I'd imagine there's going to be a feud with The Miz. There's always a feud with The Miz. But there's a lot of options on Raw. Bobby Lashley, for example. I think that could definitely work. Finn Balor versus Cody Rhodes, I would be really excited by. There's a lot of good options. Thank you for the clarification there, Venom. Thank you. Venom said, this is a thing, if he's just winning WWE title, Roman needs to do double duty. Not necessarily, but certainly that needs to be mentioned. Barry says, Sonya has changed since she represented the UK at Eurovision. Okay. Interesting, Barry. Interesting. This is a longer hype package for Cody Rhodes than I realised. I forgot about him being made to wear a tie. They have ended with a to be continued in the bottom left. I still remember the reaction that the crowd had. After all, I watched it live with you guys. Up next is Ricochet versus Top Dolla in a match that I forgot about. And I shouldn't, because Ricochet's been on fire recently. I absolutely should not have forgotten about it. But I did. So, sue me. As we head into the final third of SmackDown, please remember, hit the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm now up to 1,968 subscribers. By the end of the year, I want 5,000. 2 more to get to 1970. 1,970. Which would mean that we are gaining about 20 a week. Which is a damn good start. A damn good start that we can turn into something even more. Especially with the views as big as they are right now. So if you've not done so yet, hit that subscribe. You'll get a notification for a SmackDown watch party that you can join every single week, as well, of course, as our spoiler warning news shows and plenty more. This match is to determine who qualifies for the Royal Rumble match. 30 men, one of which will not be Ricochet or Top Dolla, 2 men that I both saw being directly involved. I am honestly quite surprised that we're not going to see both of them in that match. Thomas Phipps says AJ versus Cody would be incredible. Good shout. AJ currently a heel as well. That could definitely work. Venom says unless Cody is winning both belts, which I just don't see. Callie says any news on what they're going to do with Seth now? He'll be in the Royal Rumble by sounds of it. He is advertised for the Royal Rumble at the minute. After that, they'll work out what to do for WrestleMania. I'd imagine he's still going to be in the US title picture. Peter says that was the biggest pop I've ever heard when Cody appeared. Stuart says the bruising was some sight. It was. It really stood out. And Venom says, why does this need to be a qualifying match? It should just be a regular match. Easy. Triple H likes steaks. He likes steaks and weights and reasons, which is a considerable upgrade to a lot of what we had under Vince McMahon, where matches would just sort of happen for no reason. He likes to have a reason to do everything. And a Royal Rumble qualifier certainly makes the Royal Rumble seem a little bit more important. Thank you, Megan, also clarifying. Becky and Charlotte did face the Kabuki Warriors in a TLC match for the women's tag titles in 2019, but they lost. Barry says, will they get Ricochet to botch a dive so Top Dollar can say, see, can happen to anyone? No, what they will do instead is Top Dollar's going to hit the dive. Top Dollar's going to do the dive. I'm telling you now, Top Dollar's going to do the dive. He's going to try and keep up with Ricochet for the flippies. This also, by the way, I feel this might be the moment at which we see Braun Strowman. I suspect Imperium may get involved here, get a bit of revenge on Ricochet, causing Braun Strowman to come out and help him, but ultimately costing Ricochet the match. That'd suit me just fine. Venom says, I want Pete Dunne back, but it's not happening unless he goes by himself. I'm pretty happy with the version of Pete Dunne that we've got. Admittedly, it's Butch. And he's called Butch. But Pete Dunne is Pete Dunne, I can still see it there. It's still very much and very clearly there. This is still the Pete Dunne that we've learned to love, as it were. We saw in action and we quite enjoyed the company of. It is still Pete Dunne. I can still get behind Pete Dunne. Absolutely I can. Sean says, I wonder if Alexa will say in her explanation on Raw that she didn't know what she was doing and lost control. I believe what Alexa has been saying is, the bitch be back. Slightly different to that. The bitch be back. And ready to take some names. And better than ever. Callie says, have they turned Hit Row heel now? Nope, this is just for an exhibition match. I wouldn't worry too much about a long-term heel turn for Hit Row. Though, of course, there is some concern that they haven't really hit the ground running. Which I get. Okay, we're good. We have another Lacey Evans vignette. So I'm expecting we're going to see Braun Strowman, but also Bray Wyatt at some point tonight. That'll likely be the middle of the hour draw segment. And that's before we move on to the main event. I worry the main event's not going to get a lot of time. I just feel like there's a lot still to consider. No, Venom, I don't think Nash Carter returns. I think we've all just sort of moved on from that. Andy Barr says, how about putting Roman in a 2 out of 3 falls triple threat match where first fall is for the Universal title, second fall for the WWE title. They had a match like that at WrestleMania 2000. Yes, it was Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho and name redacted fighting for the Euro-Continental Championship. Kurt Angle was not pinned or submitted and still lost both his championships. It was a great match and really showed where we were heading. No Dominic, no plans for Angel Garza. He's just a body for them. It's not even creative hiatus. He's just not someone they're focused on at this point in time. He won't be in the Rumble. Kelly says, hope they use Lacey properly this time. She is such a good wrestler. She does have a good range, but we don't see a lot of her. Hit Row did not get a great response there. It may be because people aren't sure as to the alignment at the moment, which I kind of understand. They've made a specialist graphic for the Royal Rumble qualifying match. What confuses me is that Kofi Kingston was able to just declare, meanwhile Top Dollar and Ricochet have to qualify. Is it because he's a former WWE champion? If so, can you let me know that? Ricochet's already been tossed around, doesn't surprise me. I've never known anyone who loves being tossed more than Ricochet. They missed a clothesline there. Bad camera work. Too focused on B-Fab. I get it, she'd be fab, but still. Top Dollar is wrestling as a heel. I feel like this might actually be a heel turn. We also haven't seen the Viking Raiders in a while. Haven't seen the Viking Raiders in a little while. They came in, they beat up everybody, and then everyone just seemed to move on. Concerns over the tag division at this point. But hey, if the whole point is Drew McIntyre and Sheamus being focused on, Kevin Owens being focused on, I can see it working. Yes, Peter, if you say so. Sean says, if Cody doesn't win the Rumble, they'll be outraged. Nope, if The Rock doesn't win the Rumble, they'll be outraged. You've got to get that one right. It's all about The Rock. To be fair, I still remember Royal Rumbles where everyone was furious that Kenny Omega didn't win. He wasn't in it. Nobody ever said he would be in it. Well, people were mad. I can't remember which Royal Rumble it was. But it was the Royal Rumble before WrestleMania 33. So I want to say 2016. When Roman took on Kevin Owens. Oh, Ricochet actually just won clean. In a very short match. They got cut for time. Ricochet qualifies. Top Dolla's out of the running. Very fast-paced finish. Top Dollar, wrestling as a heel, just completely vanquished there. Interesting. But yes, there was a match in which Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker, and Goldberg all came in right close to the end. Right close to the end. So we were looking at number 30 like, who's it going to be? Like, who could it possibly be? One of my friends said Finn Balor's obviously back. One of my friends says it must be Kenny, otherwise why would they put all the big names in now? In my opinion, I was expecting Samoa Joe to debut. He just lost the NXT Championship, and I was expecting him to turn up. He turned up the night after, because it ended up being Roman Reigns. Top Dollar shakes hands and celebrates a Ricochet. Essentially at this point, communicating to Ricochet that we're about to screw you over. We have formalised the Hit Row heel turn. Again, I'm thinking this is a Braun Strowman moment. Ricochet just getting beat down again. Thinking about it, we might not be seeing Gunter because of the damage to the head. Maybe Braun's just not going to bother. Maybe he's had enough. Maybe when Gunter's not involved, he's had enough. It can't be asked. I feel like they're waiting for the crowd to chant for Braun Strowman. It's not going to happen. Stuart says, might just be me, but as Top Dollar lost weight, he looks smaller. I'm not really that focused on weight in general, so I don't really track it. Venom says, seems like Hit Row acting like heels. Indeed. Callie says, Top Dollar has shrunk. Venom says, Top Dollar getting pinned a lot. Callie says, one of my kids thought Ricochet was Andrew Tate. I kind of see it. Like, it's bad luck on his part. Braun Strowman is indeed racing down to the ring. By the time he gets to the ring, he's probably going to need a nap, let's be fair. He tried to throw a shirt at Ashanti the Adonis. I respect the rope for blocking him off. Venom says, too many heel tag teams in SmackDown now. You're not wrong. But this is all, of course, to build to the Braun Strowman Ricochet tag team. It's very much a little and large partnership born out of very bad tweeting by Braun Strowman. The Usos are getting hyped up. Roman is sending them away. Solo is backing them up. We're very much in a cupboard. Get Sami. Roman Reigns has requested Sami Zayn. There's a lot still at play here. I'm expecting we're going to see some Bray Wyatt. We're going to need to see what's going on with Roman and Sami. By the time the actual match starts, I'd imagine there's about 10-15 minutes of it. Dominic Perez says, are you having a WrestleMania watch party? Yes, I am. Premium live events I will be watching live with watch parties. Venom says, can't think of many face tag teams. No, not with Legado, Viking Raiders and Top Dollar all now heels as well. Maybe this creates opportunity for Los Lotharios. Thank you, Sean. It was 2017. Thank you. Hector says, I saw a stat that Seth took the most losses out of anyone in WWE during the last calendar year, and yet he's still one of the most over wrestlers regardless of companies. Sometimes wins aren't everything when you have a great character, and that's 100% accurate. If you've got a good character and a compelling storyline, nothing else really matters. You are delivering, and I would be real happy with it. Personally, I'd be very, very happy with that. Seth's one of those that he can heat back up in no time. And also, if you're someone who took the most losses, it might be that you're someone who took the most matches as well. You can still win the big matches and take the big losses, but always remember, Sami Zayn last year was the biggest loser. The biggest loser you could possibly imagine. The biggest loser you could possibly imagine. Then he went on to work with Johnny Knoxville, and people were not excited. People were not hopeful. I was not exactly excited either. What we've had since has been outright incredible, and well worth every second of watching. Sometimes they do know better. Venom says Creed brothers should be called up to help even it out on the face side, and it's clear they're done in NXT. Right, so what you're suggesting, Venom, is more tag teams. I don't feel they do enough with the tag teams that they have, personally. Oh, I'm not doing good, am I? So please forgive me for doing this on stream, guys. I'm going to quickly... thank you very much for subscribing, Raphael Game. In the game of Turtles, Raphael had the most game. I'm going to take a painkiller. I can't do this on stream, so I'm going to very briefly just go dark. Very briefly, just while I pop this in my mouth. That's just to help calm me down, and honestly, it's feeling a bit painful at the moment. But obviously couldn't do that on stream. Thank you for your patience. Raphael, you will receive notifications every time we go live with our SmackDown watch parties, our pay-per-view watch parties, and our Monday and Friday spoiler warning news show. You'll get plenty of exclusive news here you can't get anywhere else, including earlier today talking about Vince McMahon. Sean says, who would Sami have faced at Mania for the IC title if he wasn't facing Johnny Knoxville? I believe it would have been Ricochet. After all, I believe that's who he won the championship off in the first place. I'm just going to get another piece of paper to rip. Bear with me. Ooh, pardon me. Justin says, I'm very intrigued on what Alexa looks and talks like Monday. Does she look just like she did last week? Does she have Bray or Goddess Bliss vibes? Going to be interesting. Certainly Alexa Bliss has found ways to keep her character interesting, which, as we know, is half the battle when it comes to wrestling. She's found ways to keep people talking, and honestly, when it comes to Bray Wyatt, he's going to get people talking as well. She's got everything she needs to succeed. It's just a case of getting it over the line. We're getting a hype package for Gunther versus Strowman next week on SmackDown. It is very focused on the new version of Braun as well, which I very much like. Venom says, too many tag teams, they need to separate the tag belts. I agree with you. We have just broken 4,000 views. If you remember, last week we finished on 6,000 and it was a new record. I didn't expect to be anywhere near this time. My expectation was that we'd struggle to get even to 2,000. So a huge thanks to everyone for supporting, even just for sticking around, chatting, and hitting that like button. We peaked at 1:42 a.m. at 112 people. A new record for a SmackDown watch party. Didn't last, but it was fun while it did. Thank you, Callie. Venom says, do you see tag belts being separated? Eventually, yes. Once they've gone off the Usos, there's no reason to really keep them combined. Sean says, why do I think Dexter was a blonde guy at ringside for Alexa's match on Raw? I thought it was Mr. Kennedy, personally. Kennedy. Sami very nervously has joined Roman. I'm starting to wonder if maybe we don't see Bray this week. I just love seeing Paul Heyman in the background. Like, why is he talking? Speak when spoken to. A little desperation with Sami here. Opening with an immediate apology. Can't question the loyalty. I mean, you can. You obviously can. But you can't. How's Roman going to respond? I'm still expecting a positive outcome here. Roman's definitely unhappy. Can't even look at Sami in case he breaks. Paul Heyman is very confused. So am I. What are you doing, Roman? Wait. No. Roman Reigns is apologising to Sami Zayn. I expected a positive outcome. I didn't expect that. Well. At Medina, the fight begins in about 5 minutes. Ali says, will Bray be on? They've made it a mission to have Bray on every single week. I would be surprised not to see him. Fair, Callie. I did not see that myself. Roman is just being so positive and endearing right now. Just really being supportive of Sami. Oh no. What's he doing? It's got to be Owens, hasn't it? Next week is Sami versus... Got to be Kevin Owens. It is Kevin Owens. Again, Sami immediately looks unsure. Historically, these two put on great... Oh, no, he's getting there. Historically, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have had amazing matches. I have no issue with more of them to come. Sami Zayn will not be in the corner of the Usos for the Tag Team Championship match. Can Solo get the job done solo? Wow, can't believe I just said that. Joey says, Hit Row are heels now. Doesn't make me care about them any less than I already did. They're clearly trying to pivot into something and make people care. You never know, might work. Joey says, are they still airing these Lacey Evans repackages? She's not going anywhere. She's not going anywhere, but she will be appearing again shortly. I'd imagine Lacey Evans versus Charlotte Flair is in the building. Venom says, Sami will fail. No, I agree. And Justin said, it's just hard to follow. Uncle Howdy attacks Bray. Alexa is now a heel while Bray's a face, but looks like they're about to team again. Just hard to follow. Yeah, I maintain that I think LA Knight will be joining Bray Wyatt. I don't think Alexa Bliss will be joining Bray Wyatt. I feel she'll be a victim or a villain, personally. Andy Barr is loving the unpredictability of the Bloodline story. I definitely did not expect that from Roman. Did not expect it. Megan says Roman's in disappointed dad mode. Disappointed dad mode. The thing is, you say that, but there does feel like there was a lesson for Sami there. And Roman has provided. Daddy looks after you, boy. Daddy looks after you. Once we have Sheamus and McIntyre in the ring, we'll have one more commercial break. Meaning that we're going to get about 15 minutes of wrestling action. It looks like, yes, there will be no Bray Wyatt this week. Tiago, thank you kindly for following on the Twitch side. Welcome to the show. You'll get a notification every time we go live with our SmackDown watch parties, our pay-per-view watch parties, and of course our spoiler warning news show. Welcome to the show. Unfortunately, my Spanish is limited, So, yeah, unfortunately, he's English only. No hablamos español. No entiende español. Nada. Pequeño. Venom says, I want Roman to defend his title in the chamber. I want never guess, Venom. Behave yourself. Joey says, hopefully the main event adds some life to this show. It's been pretty mid tonight. I agree. I do agree. There's not been much going on. We haven't really seen any follow-up between, for example, Tegan Nox and Xia Li. That's ended up on the dark matches instead. We haven't seen anything from Gunter. We saw a bit of Liv Morgan, but no Ronda Rousey for this show. No Shayna Baszler. It's been lacking in numbers. And lacking in star power. If they didn't have Roman, this would be a very, very, very low down the ladder show. That said, this match should be a hell of a one. And well worth our time. Justin says, surprised they aren't hyping up Raw's 30th anniversary more. Same, they seem to be largely letting it fly under the radar. Thomas says, how would you book a chamber match for the undisputed Universal Championship? Easy. I'd throw in all of your top contenders. So Kevin Owens, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and for a wild card, Bobby Lashley. And then I'd have Roman beat the crap out of all of them, naturally. Venom says, pretty sure Sheamus eating the pin. That seems more likely, yes. Drew is a lot more protected than Sheamus is. Callie says, my thoughts exactly, Tom. Very limited amount of people on the show. And missing top stars. Ronda Rousey's a big name that they're missing. We've had a couple of good moments. Certainly I think Sonya Deville popping up to take on Charlotte was good. The opening match was good. It's created opportunities for people who aren't regularly on the card. Madcap Moss, Emma. They've at least been on the card and been more involved. That's a positive. But outside of this match, there really hasn't been much going for it. Venom, we can be confident that Drew and Sheamus are not going to win the belts. Justin says Lesnar in the Rumble. Yes, Brock Lesnar is going to be in the Royal Rumble. He has been advertised. He's in the front row of the latest poster. Bailey says, which languages do you speak, Tom? Pretty much just English. Pretty much just English. Well, that's not how you spell that, Tiago, so I have question marks about your ability to speak Spanish. Entiende? It's not spelled like enter. Sean says, do you think Solo would have been lost in the shuffle if he wasn't with the Bloodline? Yeah, pretty much. They've used him very well, but they've been able to lean on the Bloodline in order to do that. They've been able to sort of protect him in that way, which is necessary at times. Necessary. We are just a couple of minutes away from Sheamus and Drew McIntyre versus the Usos for the Tag Team Championships. We are up, we are on, we are live. Joey is upset with the commercials. We're going to get one in the middle of the match as well, Joey, just so you know. Callie says they'll justify it with Charlotte being on the show. Charlotte is a big name. That is fair, but they don't need to justify it. There's not going to be any mention of this. We're not going to go straight to Triple H after the show and be like, why? Where was everyone? Because that's just awkward. Venom says, if Drew and Sheamus win, how about an NXT watch-along after the Rumble? No. Justin says, I just hope the Bloodline don't dominate the Rumble match. I hope they do, at least for a little bit. I certainly think Solo Sikoa can have a hell of a breakout performance in a Royal Rumble. Thomas says, personally I would have Sami, KO, Drew, Sheamus, Solo and Roman, then have Sami and Solo teaming up to slowly take down the other men in the match, eliminating them to give Roman an easy win until... What I would do personally, I would definitely have the Bloodline teaming up, but I would definitely also have moments like Drew McIntyre's involvement, Sheamus's involvement. I would just have them picking them off bit by bit. I'd have all of them in there, at least for a brief while. But then I just have a bit of non-stop carnage. That's all you need. That's all you need. Tammy says, Usos would definitely retain with any means necessary. I mean, that is a Bloodline MO. And Joey says, when are they going to reveal the new tag belts? I don't like the 2 belts. Well, that was a rumour, and months after that rumour was started, nothing has happened. Callie says, ratings will be interesting. I'd imagine so. Hector says, as a known Bray fan, I'm kind of glad we haven't seen him this week. It's a good way to build suspense after he took the sister Abigail last week. Telling as well that we haven't seen Uncle Howdy either. We could have very easily had him pop up in and around LA Knight, but we've seen nothing in that regard. Nothing at all. It's all gone very, very quiet. Maybe because Bo is also not there. He's been backstage quite a bit recently. Quite a few people have seen him. Maybe why I suggested that we may have seen him out front and not immediately known it. Thomas says, KO pins Solo due to Sami costing him. Roman sees this and takes his anger out on KO, makes Sami watch. Roman then pins KO and tells Sami to lay down for him to pin, which Sami refuses and hits Roman. What match are you talking about here, Thomas? Because Royal Rumble does not involve pins. Venom says, how come they're not having Solo get the US title? Wouldn't be surprised if he gets it and becomes the longest reigning US champ. Primarily because that's the wrong brand. The US Championship is on Raw and Solo's on SmackDown. Justin asks, Uncle Howdy versus Bray at Mania. I mean, maybe? I don't like the idea. I don't think the crowd are going to be behind that. But knowing Bray, it'll be another Lights Out match or a Firefly Funhouse match or something of that ilk again. So, swings and roundabouts. Gotcha, Thomas. Right, okay, I see where you're coming from. So you'd have a chamber involving KO, Roman, Solo, and Sami Zayn. So half the bloodline is in this chamber. I have questions, mate. I have questions. Adam says, only reason I said US title, because there's no one who beats Walter. There's no one who beats Austin Theory. We all know this. We all know this. Sean says, who does Alexa feud with after Bianca? Pretty much whoever's available. There aren't too many people that are obvious there. There aren't too many faces left on the Raw side. Maybe Candice LeRae? Becky? Oh, Becky. Sean says, Summer Rae was backstage at Raw. She's not signing a new deal. She was just backstage visiting. You get that a lot. Naomi, for example, has been backstage a few times recently. Mostly they're supporting the bloodline, but she's also been there as part of negotiations. They moved Sasha's negotiations off-site after all, and that did not really work out for them. Joey says, is it true that WWE is keeping Uncle Howdy's identity a secret? So a report that the person wears the outfit backstage too. They're trying to. Justin says, I don't see any path for Alexa to be in a Mania match, unfortunately, unless it's a Battle Royal. The only real path is if she beats Bianca for the championship, and I just don't personally see it. Drew McIntyre has been as dominant as he always is, but at the moment he is on his back, and it is Jey Uso who is standing tall. We go to our last commercial break, and imagine certain people in the chat are currently fuming. Last time I'll mention it, but we're currently on 4,788 views. If you're able to, please remember to hit that thumbs up. It might bring a couple more people in to get us to 5,000 by the end of it, which would be a very, very nice number. Failing that, of course, if you haven't done so yet, please remember to subscribe. Our numbers continue to go up. I need to cough, please bear with me. Our numbers continue to go up, and I am so grateful to all of you for being here, keeping this chat going, keeping the chat rate up, hitting that like. We are on 1,972 subscribers, meaning that we have gained 21 subscribers today and 12 in this show individually. A very good day to be Tom Colohue. A very good day indeed. And quickly moving on towards the 2,000 from which we intend to push on. Thank you, all of you, for the company and just for the good times. 10 minutes left of WWE Smackdown. Joey says, I wonder who's going to play Uncle Harper. Could it be Eric Rowan? It could be potentially. He has been available for a while, and there was talk a while back of a new version of the Wyatt family, which Eric Rowan would have been a part of. Simon says, hey Tom, how many appearances will Sasha/Mercedes Money do in Stardom? However many they want her to make and however many she wants to make. It is not a hard and fast rule. They have not said you will make, for example, 5 appearances. They've just said, get down here, let's start making stuff happen. Justin suggests Alexa versus Asuka, but he just doesn't see that at Mania. Nor I. I also, to be honest, don't think Asuka is going to be on the Mania card either. Justin says, my thinking was there'd be qualifying matches for the Chamber. I only put Solo in there as an easy way of getting Sami to cost Roman the easy win in theory. And Joey says, hopefully next time you'll get to talk about more reports than just Vince. That story took up the whole live stream today. I didn't have more news to share, to be honest, because it's a big piece of news, a big piece of story. I've been talking to people, naturally as usual, but they've wanted to talk about it as well. There'll be more news, of course. You guys know that there is endless news in ye old world of WWE wrestling, and there'll be more to share soon, I'm sure. Megan says Summer Rae was backstage and Lana was in the crowd. Sean says, unless they do Alexa versus Nikki at WrestleMania, but that's heel versus heel. It is. I'm honestly not sure whether they're going to end up as a tag team again. With the evolution of Nikki, which has been largely forgotten about, I could see them pairing up again. Hector says, maybe we could get one of the planned members for the Y6 going after Alexa for Mania and Abby the Witch. Sean says, maybe we get Alexa versus Candice at WrestleMania. I don't see Alexa... I don't see Candice, I don't see Johnny, I don't see Dexter, Dexter, getting onto the WrestleMania card at all. I think Austin Theory is the only member of The Way to actually make it onto the card. Sami Zayn has somehow found popcorn. Roman is very confused by the presence of the popcorn. Paul Heyman's eating it. Correct, Bailey. Roman Reigns doesn't eat popcorn. Only about 5 minutes of the match left. It's been very high tempo so far. No real rest holds, no real messing about. And I've got to say, all 4 of these men infamously love to call it in the ring. Drew McIntyre in particular likes to make it up as he goes along, and he does a very good job of it. Solo Sikoa is still on the outside, there if needed, and I suspect he will be. They have to protect McIntyre and Sheamus as best they can. Sean suggests move Alexa to SmackDown, more faces she could feud with. That's true, and a fair point. Andy Barr says they're still planning mid-card single title for the women. Yes, it is still under consideration and still being discussed backstage. Certainly it doesn't seem like it's going to be Nikki versus Alexa anymore. Thomas says, what was your question of the booking of by chamber match then, Tom? The half bloodline in it, really. Simon says, do you think Steve... No, Simon, I don't. I don't think that at all, no. I can't say more, but I don't think his career rests on it at all, no. Justin says, Wyatt 6 sounds like a horrible idea. Watch them put Bliss and Cross back as a team. I wouldn't hate it. They could be in the tag team championship match, so it could be Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, Io Sky and Dakota Kai, Liv Morgan and Tegan Nox, and Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. I like that idea. Joey says, Sean Ross Sapp reported that WWE is interested in New Japan star Hikuleo. Have you seen any of his matches? Is he good? He's alright. I've seen a couple of his matches. I've seen him live as well. The issue is, the people I've seen him wrestle against is largely Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. You can't tell if someone's good by watching matches against Carl Anderson. Pardon me, by watching matches against Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. At the end of it, you're just not sure. Drew McIntyre over the top rope into both Usos. It is definitely advantage McIntyre and Sheamus, as it has been for most of the match. But as I say, this has been really high tempo. Claymore hits. Jimmy Uso just got there in time. Thomas says, to be honest, I think Sami needs to be in the match with Roman, but Solo could easily swap out for Drew. I feel like Sami has to cost Roman in some way. Maybe he pulls KO out of the way of a spear. I don't see that personally. It doesn't work for me. I would just be aiming for a great match and have Sami at ringside. Not every match or segment needs to be building towards Finger Sami. I feel as much as anything you could do backstage. Roman Reigns is indeed eating popcorn. Sami Zayn has convinced Roman Reigns to eat popcorn. Roman Reigns is turning into Sami Zayn. Sean says, do you think it makes a finisher look weak if someone kicks out of it? Yeah. There is a reason we have finishers. And as an example, the kick out of the End of Days by Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania really did not help Baron Corbin. The Usos are starting to turn the screw here. Not the best 1Ds they've ever done, but they did one, and that looks like it might actually be it. Nope, Drew McIntyre's there. Good camera work. The crowd are having a great time here. This match has been fantastic so far. They're still alive, but they've only got a couple of minutes left. They need to make it count. Drew is looking shooketh. All four men getting back to their feet. Jey Uso quite cleverly getting McIntyre out of the ring. Just trying to survive at this point, and there's Solo. Making his presence known. Solo Sikoa, of course, spent a lot of time working against Drew McIntyre as he started out. Oh, here's Butch. Completely missed Solo there. Completely missed him. I don't understand why the Brawling Brutes weren't already at ringside when they knew that Solo was going to be there. Sheamus is taking the blows. That's a brogue kick. Jimmy's too near the ropes. Hector says, I think my favourite part of the Triple H booking era has definitely been all the false finishes. It's a great way to make these matches look more important. They're being clever about it. It's not a case of kicking out a finisher, kicking out a finisher. It's a case of surviving. Sean says, as Sheamus and Drew said, banger after banger after banger. Sheamus is on the top rope. He never looks confident. Oh, no, he's on... Oh, he went even higher. He never looks particularly confident up there. Sheamus and Jimmy are in the ring here. No sign of Drew. Seems like Solo did the numbers they were going for. And that is a leverage roll-up, winning the match for the Usos. Not technically a cheat there. And Sami has spilled his crotch popcorn. His crotch corn. Roman is not happy about it. Don't spill your crotch corn, kids. Don't spill your crotch corn. They're already hyping up matches for next week. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Also, Gunther versus Braun Strowman for the Intercontinental Championship. They've promised good stuff for next week, and honestly, I could get behind it. But they are wrapping up fast, while Sheamus gives Drew McIntyre like a little romantic little kiss right on top of the head. Right on top of the head. It's so sweet, so cute, so nice. And that was SmackDown. It missed star power. It definitely missed star power, but the main event did make up for it. There was a lot of fun there. Just a really enjoyable war between four people who know how to get it done in the ring. That was a good time, at least. But as usual, it is now 3 in the morning. Tom Colohue needs to get himself to bed. So, a quick thank you to everyone who has joined us. We peaked at 112 viewers. We have 33 likes, and we have been seen 5,201 times. 5,201. If you want more shows like this, remember to hit subscribe so that you'll be here and get the notification this time next week, where we'll be live with even more SmackDown watch parties. In the meantime, though, a huge thank you to all of you for your time, for your conversation, and for your company. I've been Tom Colohue. You've been fantastic, and I'll see you all very soon.